Hey guys, welcome back to Coffee Talk. We got Kate, we got Jimmy, we got Josh, and I'm here. Let's go.
We're in the house.
All right, so Coffee Talk, the popular show, the Coffee Talk show, we're back. We got Kate, and we got to talk through her story because this is an amazing story of what's been going on.
That's one way to put it.
So Kate, enlighten us here. Like, tell us, like, you were just going to come over and hang out for a couple days.
You could almost write a book about what happened this week or two weeks.
I've tried to explain what's happened to multiple people who just like, oh, Kate, she goes to Ohio and da 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 da. And they're like, I do not understand what you're talking about. And I'm thinking to myself, if this was on TV, if this was like a reality TV show, I'd be like, this is all staged. This show is fake.
Yeah, this isn't real.
This show is fake.
It's like, they just made all that up. There's no way that all happened for real.
What garbage. This is fake. There's no way any of that happened. So yeah, I mean, I had just picked my car up from getting hit and run. I'd never gotten hit and run, a lot of firsts in this. And I got all the doors on the driver's side replaced. And then I'd gotten up the next morning, driven 2 hours out to Daryl's, who was getting a case here at the Heart, packed all that stuff up, then was on my merry little way, and in Wheeling, I got into a car accident. And my gosh, I mean, there's so many levels.
There is, isn't there?
I'm tired already just
thinking about
it. Yeah. And of course, I had just talked to Jacob saying I was going to not stop because I didn't feel...
Yeah, you called and said, hey, I'm just going to drive straight in.
Yeah.
I'll be there by 6:30
I was like, I don't really need to stop. I got all this stuff in my car. I haven't seen the burners in forever. Like, I'm just going to go. Well, sure enough, that didn't happen. So then I had to call you to tell you I wasn't going to be there for dinner and that I was in Wheeling.
Yeah.
Jacob called Janet called them, and then all of a sudden there was a vendor who was beyond kind enough to come pick me up and my car with all of Daryl's stuff in an enclosed trailer. I'm sitting soaking wet, freezing cold in basketball shorts and a sweater because I didn't think I was going to be outside, you know, at a Kroger's underneath the rotisserie chicken lamp, you know, trying to dry out.
That selfie's really funny. You're sitting here.
It was cold. It was real cold.
The lady at the counter's probably like, is she going to buy one of them chickens?
They were so nice. They didn't ask. I was like, no one's asking any questions, and I feel like I would definitely be like, ma'am, what are you doing? You've been here for like 3 hours.
By the chickens. You're staring these chickens down.
So finally I told them they were so nice. But yeah, finally around 10:30, I got picked up with an enclosed trailer with my car and myself, and then got driven out to another area, which was off the beaten path from where I was going. And they just happened to have an Airbnb, which was the craziest part about this is the little details. The Airbnb was Andy Warhol and Liechtenstein themed.
Oh, really?
Which is, of course, like
that's so cool.
My jam. That's like my first, you know.
It was your first sign, so I'm going to be okay.
Yeah, I was like, this is so random. Even
Warhol,
my dad, who's kind of like, you know, oh, it is what it is. He was like, what are the odds of that? And I was like, I know.
That's so funny.
And so then, you know, the next day he drives me over to the Heart and get Daryl's case all set up, yada, yada, yada. And gosh, what happens next?
Well, I don't know. There's a lot of parts to the story, but you decided, hey, I think my car's totaled. That was one of the things. And I've got to...
somebody looked at it and said it was totaled.
And they think it was totaled. And so you're like, let's... well, I just said, well, let's just challenge. Let's flip for a profit for a car. Let's go buy a car
if you're going to get stuck, this is the best place to get stuck.
There's a lot of shopping you can do at least.
Sure. Yeah. And I'm pretty good at it. So enough, you know, I'm flipping every day, and I'm thinking to myself, this is all great, but like, what next? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's going on. And you know what's so funny? You guys came up to me, Jimmy and Josh came up to me, and they said, did you see that yellow bug that's parked outside of Donaldsville? Have you ever seen that car before?
Not
until you showed up. That's why we asked, because I was like, that car's I've never seen that car before.
It looks just
yellow
like
bus.
It is. I saw it. And then I saw it again the next day, somewhere else, just random, parked on the side of the road when I was driving. I said,
Signs, dude.
I know, and I was
cool.
telling your mom yesterday at the antique center, I said, everyone keeps saying I'm being real, positive and da 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 da. I'm like, well, what are you gonna do? Sit around and sulk
Right.
or go out? Because just gonna say it. I believe that if I was sitting in the apartment, just facing the wall, how am I gonna hear? You know what I mean? I'm just thinking about myself at that point. You got to be out in the world to hear because God speaks through people, right?
Right.
So it's like I go to the heart of Ohio. All these vendors and all the the Berners, everybody has just kind of like wound together and like basically taking care of the situation. Yesterday I was shopping at the heart of Ohio and one of the vendors I had bought a bunch of stuff from was there restocking and said, you know what? You'll never believe it, but I have a car. We were gonna sell it this week and da 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 da, and it was like right at the tip of my budget, and she's brand new car basically,
Yeah.
and
That's so
I'm
cool.
just like, what is
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that part. Yeah, that's awesome.
that happened
See, yeah,
yesterday? Because
Perfect.
everyone's like, oh, like you're back here at the heart. Everyone was like, oh,
Yeah,
you're
right,
just walking. I'm like, well, yeah, like what am I gonna do?
Haven't left yet.
Well, it's like, what are you gonna do? Sit around and
Right,
feel
yeah.
sorry for yourself or think,
yeah.
think? What's that gonna do? You got to be out in the world to be able to hear.
Sure.
Well, that's what's so exciting is to realize that we go through life and we have all this stuff that happens, but I truly believe this, that God is always watching out for us, and He lets us grow, He lets us stretch, but there's always a path. There's always a path. And watching you get blessed, it's almost like your path is being completely directed right now. Like, look here, do this, watch this, go this. Now just be still, watch what's happening in your life. And how many people have been able to participate in helping, whether it's buying on the Whatnot shows or in the mall selling to you. It's just like an amazing moment. Every once in a while you got to just stop and realize, man, God's pretty cool. This is pretty amazing.
It's incredible, and I don't think any of it is coincidence. And sure, like it was like a bad situation. It sucks. I've never been in a situation like this before.
Right.
Like,
Well, something you didn't tell our viewers that I found really interesting is that after you got in the accident, you decided to drive the car and you were going 80 miles an hour down the road.
well, that was the worst part. I think.
and the hood flew up.
So the radiator was clearly bent. I knew that. I knew enough to know that the radiator was bent. So you could only drive like, a mile and a half before it started overheating. And I thought, well, if it's just the radiator, I don't want to smoke the engine.
Right,
of this
right.
thing. It's raining. There's like no shoulder, and, and so I'd drive like a mile and a half to 2 before the smoke and then stop. And by the time I'm like, okay, this is the last stretch. I'm about 1.8 miles away from
Right.
where I need to be to get to safety
get off
and
the road,
off the
yeah.
highway to like a town where like I can just take care of myself. There's no shoulder on this stretch coming around the mountain. I was like, I gotta do it. I was like, if this smokes the engine, this smokes the engine, but I'm not trying to get killed out here.
Right.
So I just gunned it, and the thing went up to 80, and the hood of the car straight back. I thought it was going to smash the windshield. I went white as a ghost.
Oh, I
it was
bet.
more alarming than anything. Now, luckily, I was like, freezing cold but sweating because I'm so nervous about this. So I already had rolled the window down. So I just got my head out the window and I'm just like white as a ghost, pale, no expression, just like going 80 with my hazards on, with my hood wide open around the mountain. Thinking, oh my God, this is going to be over in less than a
I would
minute.
have liked to have seen traffic on the other side going by when they went, and then was like, "What in the world is that?
I
I've
mean-
never seen that before."
And to be honest, like I'm glad I'm okay and everything, but if
Yeah.
I was going to be grateful for one thing that isn't a person, place, or thing, it would be the fact that the windshield didn't bust.
Yeah.
I really thought it was going to.
Wow.
I think I lost a pound.
Well, and in seeing that though, and then you're grateful for people that helping you. But what I think happens too in this, and I think it happens a lot. Like there's a lot of other things that was in play here for like people may have been asking in different ways or different things to help people, or they needed something in their lives as well. So I think like you said, God has a plan. Well, He has a plan for you, but in doing that, He has set up so many other people's plan, even to like help someone or to be a part of it, and then they feel good about what they did, and that they were like, okay, well that helped. Yeah, I've been asking God, maybe how could I help somebody, or how could I do this, and now that's coming to fruition for them. So actually, you're helping other people in the same way, rights that they're helping you.
That's so
And
true, because it feels so much better to give than to receive.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. But I mean, like you said, someone they have a car, and then the people have an opportunity to sell things or buy things from you, or just help you with the car, or even, it doesn't matter what it is. But I think God's kind of lining that up too for them in their lives.
We're just stewards.
Yeah.
In this world, we get things and we get relations. We're just stewards, and we're not going to last very long. But to have those moments where you can slow down and realize your friendships, and realize the people around you, realize the blessings you have, and just be in that moment. And we're always wanting to hurry to get through to the next thing, the next day, the next whatever. But man, when we just stop and look around at the good people that are all around us, it's pretty amazing.
As much as we think we're in control of what we're doing, you are not. No. And as much as you want to be in control of what you're doing, you're not. And it takes people, a wide range of people, to make things work and happen. And I mean, everyone's very different. If we were all the same, we couldn't function. I mean, we'd all know the same thing. We'd all know how to make coffee. No one would know how to make eggs, or
my coffee's not very good,
but in that analogy, I mean, we all have so many different gifts and talents that all come together, and it's kind of awesome.
And that's the greatest thing about the antiques industry and what we do and buy, for a living. The gentleman I called, I was just saying, hey, do we know anybody in where you were broke down, the town you were broke down, and we actually searched our entire database, and we had not one dealer in that actual zip code. And so I called a couple of dealers I know in that general area, and within an hour and a half or so of that area. And the gentleman's like, oh yeah, I'm on my way. Like my crew's got this. Like don't worry. He goes, listen, I have been broke down. I'm an antiques dealer. Like we're in this together.
Right.
And he said, I have been broke down on the side of the road and stranded many times on the highway, and it's hard to get help. And your car's full of antiques, and you're worried and distressed. He said, I'm sending a truck and trailer. They'll be there in a couple hours. We've got to unload the trailer first. So they unloaded the trailer, and he sent it out immediately. And I mean, I get it. I've been broke down on the side of the road with trailer full of antiques, and you're like, I don't want that to go to a body shop somewhere. Like they're not going to understand or whatever. But antique dealers really look out for each other in this business. And I mean, I've shopped all over the world, and antiques are great, but the people around them, that's amazing. That's
awesome.
Different completely.
Yeah, and sometimes it's hard to put your trust in people.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that when you do, then you find out, okay, it makes people don't like change. And when you trust people, then you find out that the reciprocation of it is awesome. And then you're like, okay, these are good people.
Yeah,
this is genuine. This is awesome. And then you get that feeling of and it's just, I don't know how to explain it really, but it's good. It's awesome. I love this industry because of what it is.
Something I've learned in this industry, Jimmy, is you start relationships because of the items that you're looking for or whatever,
sure.
but then you build friendships.
Yes.
It's why we call one of our our base show is faith, family, and friendships. That describes the antique industry to me, because when we would go to Europe, we got to the point where we wouldn't even stay at hotels. We would stay at people's homes, and we would go over there for 10, 12, 14 days, and we would be like, well, we're going to this guy's place for 3 days and this guy's place for 2 days, and you build friendships, and that is like the exciting part about this industry.
Right.
It's fun, it's great. I love buying and selling. I get a lot of excitement out of it, but the friendships and the relationships, man, that's amazing.
We look for, it's like a happy rejoice when Kate shows up, even though this time it was in dire need.
Chaotic.
But it was like, hey, Kate's here. But it's refreshing. And then you go, you do your thing, and you go do your own ways, and you kind of do your thing, and then, you make a full circle coming back around, and it's awesome.
Pretty amazing. And then to watch so many people just be generous, that's pretty awesome to see.
Yeah, and for me, like, I am someone who much rather give than receive. I don't like to receive. It makes me uncomfortable. I'm like, no.
Right.
But meanwhile, if Jimmy had been, on the side of a mountain in West Virginia, I wouldn't have.
Well,
I would've
Jimmy
just
actually
come
told
back.
me. He said, "Hey,
Right.
we need to leave and go get Kate." And I'm like, "No, I think we got it figured out. We were just gonna go pick her
Yeah,
up.
so we just go pick her up.
We'll figure out the car
And I
later,
would have
get
been
her and all the
so
stuff."
mad about it. But to be honest, I would have done the same thing.
And that's the first thing you told me. Well,
Yeah.
you're broke down. I'm just call.
I would
I'll
have
be there.
just coming there. Like
But
I don't know what I was gonna do, but I would be there.
Right.
So this last week started for you. It was a week ago tonight, or no, Sunday. This
Yes,
Monday was
it's
it Monday?
been over a week.
Over a
now.
week. It was Sunday a week ago. Wow.
We're on day
8.
Day 8.
Day 8.
And those are
Crazy.
stressful times. I mean, they really are because they work on you. You got a lot going on, and you're trying to do some stuff, and then now you got this thing that you didn't plan on doing at all happening.
But hearing a lot of the little short sentiments of some people who have pitched in and stuff, and just it's kind of put it into a bigger perspective.
Yeah, that's
where
good.
it doesn't feel like, dang, it's my time to pay the piper and I got into this crap situation.
Yeah.
It feels like, wow, this is a bad situation, but through this, I have a bigger vision
Yeah.
of how big this is, and how people, and just, it's really kind of filled my heart. Even my dad doesn't really understand a lot of he's like, I don't know, my daughter goes to Ohio sometimes. She sells some cat figurines. I don't really get it. But I've told him, and he's like, wait, what do you mean? And I've told him, it took me 3 times to slowly go through event by event, and he's like, that is amazing.
Yeah.
He's like, that's unbelievable. And I said, I know. That's what, I'm not calling you and being like, hey, just so you know, I told my car I'm fine, da 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 da, click. I'm like, no, this is the information you want to pull out of this. 'Cause
Yeah.
this is the crazy part.
That is.
Stuff happens every day,
Every day.
and I'm lucky that, I've gone across the country 3 times, and so much as I've had nothing but a flat tire
Right.
that was taken care of within an hour. You know what I mean?
Right.
But this has been my biggest one. Obviously, thank God. I
Got it
get
out
my
of the way.
but
That's
I'm
out of the
just saying, you can't be upset because it's stuff happens every day. But look at all the doors and things,
Yeah.
and the people. It's just
Yeah.
amazing.
Very amazing. What a cool place to actually. We said something like that at the beginning. Is because you're here with us at the heart. And your ability and the Antique Center's stuff, you're like, oh, I can just flip my way to a new car. Let's go. And you've been buying and selling, and building up enough savings to get to the point where you're like, I think I'm ready. Whatever's going to happen, wait for that phone call from the insurance. And if I got to get another car, I'm going to go get it.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
My thing was I want to get to enough where I have enough to pay the bill and pay the rental and buy the car comfortably, and then
Right.
when I get home I'll figure out the rest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's I'm almost there.
You're getting close.
I'm almost
That's
there.
the other part of it too. Is it's not like you're at home doing this.
Yeah. Well, it does help that I'm at America's largest antique.
True. Yeah. But
That's kind of your home.
There's
Just
no,
like
Yeah, it's
yeah,
just
it is. There's no shortage of stuff, and it's crazy too because the amount of quality for the price is unreal. It's the equivalent of going to 30, 40 antique malls and flea markets and yada yada yada, except it's all under one roof.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I was filming your piles, and you're like, I paid $160 for that whole pile, and I'm like,
Yeah,
it's amazing.
wow.
If you sit in the time to look, that's every day. That happens there.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
And
to
I've
watch.
had a lovely time talking to a lot of the vendors. I was talking to one vendor yesterday who was just so cool, and I was trying to explain to him what I look for, because he was like, well, what's your, and I said I just look for unique, different, and things that I feel like are underpriced, you
Right.
know. And sure enough, and then I turned around and I said like this, and there was like a little etching hand signed from the 50s of a duckling.
Mm-hmm.
and matted with their original papers on the back. You know,
That's cool.
beautiful.
Yeah.
$3.
$3. Like, well, like that, I can make money. For $3, I'm gonna sell this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. Well, this weekend's been kind of interesting. We were all antiquing Thursday. I made the decision I had to get to Florida Saturday. I flew down to Florida. What is today? Yes, Saturday I flew down. You guys were out of town with your families all weekend.
You went moose hunting or something?
I love that. Oh, that's awesome. So these guys were all out of town. Kate still just kept going, buying and selling. Silka had Sutton all weekend, and like today feels like my first weekend day, and it's Monday. It's a full work week ahead.
Right. Well, Josh and I were camping, and the next thing I know, you said, I'm getting on a plane going to Florida. I said, well, he said he was getting on us for going camping 2 hours away. He's going to Florida. But it was quick.
It was a quick trip.
It
was down and back in one day, and it was good. It was good.
Well, it's 30 degrees here. You didn't miss much.
Man, when I got off that plane, it was like 70 and perfect humidity, and I'm like, this is why people move to Florida.
I said, we woke up the first morning and we were like, whew. I looked out the window and it was frost. I said,
It looked like it snowed.
yeah,
The frost
it was
so
so
heavy.
frost was so heavy.
Yeah.
But this
Wow.
isn't what we thought.
Well, guys, Berner Brother Antiques, we're just having fun sharing stories of the past week with you. But this is Easter week, so enjoy your families this week. Enjoy the holiday. Spend some time. And we are closed on Easter Sunday. The Heart of Ohio closes 3 days a year. This Sunday is one of those days. So thanks again for watching this. Continue to watch Follow That Bug. She's sharing her whole story on our YouTube channel and then our Whatnot shows. Follow That Bug on YouTube and Whatnot both. And then
I think she's coming out with a book later this year. But
signing autographs. That is so cool.
it'll be a short story.
Short.
Short stories.
All right, we gotta go. We gotta get to work. We'll see you guys later. Don't forget, like, subscribe, comment, and tell Kate, and give her some encouraging words, guys. She's still here. Give her some encouraging words.